Yeah. Oh my God. Must be Friday. He just wants some attention. There you go. You want some attention? You happy now? All right. Say hello to everyone. I'm going to have to contend with him as well as try and talk to you. So, welcome to Friday morning. Got through another week. Apologies. Well, I can't even remember now. I think it was 2 days ago. I think we got on yesterday. Yeah, we did. 2 days ago, we had an NBN outage, and I couldn't go to air. Or was it yesterday? No, it was on Wednesday. So anyway, didn't go to air last night because I keep forgetting. I put up that we're going to do a podcast on Thursday evenings, but I keep forgetting. I've actually now got work commitments Thursday evenings. I can't do Thursday evenings. So this is what happens when you get a bit older, you know. But I tell you, even though I'm a bit older, and even though I'm losing brain cells, I've got 100 times more brain cells than some of those unwashed we saw yesterday out in the streets. So I might forget a little thing like that. But I know why socialism, communism, Marxism, and all that nonsense is so bad, but we'll get into that later in the show. So I'm trying to talk a little bit just so I can relax him. He needs a little attention to calm down. Don't you, buddy? Yeah, you can see he's giving me the look because I stopped patting him. So he'll calm down in a minute and we'll get in. So, yeah, see that? He's a classic. So he's looking. Aren't you looking for attention? Yes, he is. He does this all the time. He's so well behaved usually on this podcast. He can settle down. Now he's settling good. He doesn't usually do that. So it's a bit of a surprise today he does it, but he does it everywhere else. Like when I'm working downstairs, it's a nightmare. Anyway, we can get in the show now. He's settled down for the episode, I hope. If I have to duck downstairs again, we've been through that before. Anyway, Melbourne's weather. There it is. Overcast, grey, cloudy, pretty normal lately. It's been like this nearly all week. No, not as cold as it has been. It's still a little cold, but a few weeks ago it was bloody freezing. But not as cold. I think we've gotten through, well, cross fingers, we've gotten through the real cold parts. I'll say it again, we need the rain. Had a bit of rain, need a lot more rain. So I'm not too sure we're going to get it. Now, we'll cross that bridge when we have our reservoirs low. Pity we haven't built more dams to catch more rain, eh? What was that ALP politicians? Building dams doesn't create water. One of them said something stupid like that. Unbelievable. We have some imbeciles in Parliament. And we have imbeciles out in the street. We are up to the 14th. I didn't read. Okay, I think I've got two to read, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get into it. Yeah, I didn't read Thursday's one yesterday. So, God, I am having a bad week. So first one from yesterday, Hymn of Praise. One way to capture some of the psalmist's excitement about knowing God is to meditate on the many facets of God's character seen in this psalm. I will proclaim your greatness, my God and King. I will thank you forever and ever. Every day I will thank you. I will praise you forever and ever. The Lord is great and is to be highly praised. His greatness is beyond understanding. What you have done will be praised from one generation to the next. They will proclaim your mighty acts. They will speak of your glory and majesty, and I will meditate on your wonderful deeds. People will speak of your mighty deeds, and I will proclaim your greatness. They will tell about all your goodness and sing about all your kindness. The Lord is loving and merciful, slow to become angry, and full of constant love. He is good to everyone and has compassion on all he made. That is important. He is good to everyone and has compassion on all that he made. That includes that unwashed from yesterday. All you creatures, Lord will praise you, and all your people will give you thanks. They will speak of the glory of your royal power and tell of your might, so that everyone will know your mighty deeds and the glorious majesty of your kingdom. Your rule is eternal, and you are king forever. The Lord is faithful to his promises, and he is merciful in his acts. He helps those who are in trouble. He lifts those who have fallen, if they want to be lifted. No. Friday, August 15th, 14th. God, I'm having a bad day. Sorry, shouldn't blaspheme. Isaiah 6, 1 through 8. Holy, holy, holy. The vision of God as a holy God was etched into Isaiah's being. He constantly called sinful people to be forgiven and to worship. This is pretty. I keep saying a lot of times I read these passages and I'm about to rant on all the what we call unwashed that took to the streets yesterday. But he constantly called sinful people to be forgiven and for them to worship. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. He was sitting on his throne, high and exalted, and his robe filled the whole temple. Around him, flaming creatures were standing, each of which had 6 wings. Each creature covered its face with 2 wings and its body with 2, and used the other 2 for flying. Interesting. They were calling out to each other, holy, holy, holy. The Lord Almighty is holy. His glory fills the world. The sound of their voices made the foundation of the temple shake, and the temple itself was filled with smoke. I said, there is no hope for me. I'm doomed because every word that passes my lips is sinful. And I live among a people whose every word is sinful. And yet with my own eyes I've seen the King, the Lord Almighty. Then one of the creatures flew down to me, carrying a burning coal that he had taken from the altar with a pair of tongs. He touched my lips with the burning coal and said, this has touched your lips, and now your guilt is gone and your sins are forgiven. Then I heard the Lord say, whom shall I send? Who will be our messenger? I answered, I will go, send me. Hope for us all, isn't there? My lips are sinful, and I live among a people whose every word is sinful. Sounds pretty familiar. Anyway, very appropriate to what I'm about to say. So we'll have a good old rant today. We'll also get into Twitter a bit earlier because I want to go through a few of these things. I was going to do or try and do an empty chair interview, but if I'm being honest, the week I've had, I'm not prepared for it. So, but I would have probably cancelled it anyway, because after what I saw yesterday, I think it is interesting what you see through the media. It's interesting what you see now through live streams. Now, I've been very critical of Harvey Emini. But credit where credit is due. He was back to his best yesterday. And his best is when he's walking the streets and asking questions of these idiots. And forgive them for being idiots, but they are idiots. They're indoctrinated fools that don't do their research and just believe everything that gets thrown at them by other idiots, which we'll show you here in a minute. But Harvey was out there with and it's sad that Harvey's got to go out with a security detail of about 6 strong young Aussie men. And God bless every one of those Aussie men. You know, I think one of them, if I remember his name's Nick Patterson, who went to jail for a bit. So it looks like he got sourced a few of his mates. That's the Aussie I like. I mean, they protected one of their own and made sure he was safe while he went out and did a civic duty. What Avi and Rukshan did yesterday is a civic duty. And this is where I really do love the way Avi and Rukshan go about it. They get out amongst the unwashed socialist group and they just make them look like fools with simple arguments. It's not hard. And we'll show you a little bit of that in a minute. So, you know, the problem is you can watch live streams that, for example, Rukshan puts out, and they get right into the heart of the protest, interview people, talk to others, and you think no person with any common sense could relate to them. Some of the nonsense that was spoken, and I highly recommend, if you haven't done it, I've watched a lot of it. I'm going to watch the whole thing again. If you haven't done it, go to Avi's YouTube channel or Rukshan's and watch their live stream from yesterday. It only goes for an hour and a half. It's not a long live stream. Some live streams can go 5-6 hours. This one went for an hour and a half. So I've watched 2 live streams this week of Avi and Rukshan's. The first one was from Parliament about the group voting ticket. I was left feeling uneasy about that. This one yesterday was much better. And look, gave me a good laugh, but also made me quite sad. You know, And a lot of the blame for this, it doesn't fall on the kids. It falls on us. It falls on you and me because we're not pushing back hard enough. And when I say pushing back, we're just not having the discussions, the debate, and we're getting about our own lives but leaving others behind. Now, I'm not talking socialism. I'm talking giving these kids the tools they need to be successful in life. I'm actually talking about entrepreneurialism, capitalism, being successful, aspiring to those things, understanding this society, the only thing between you being successful and not being successful are your choices. Coffee time. Now, will those kids listen? Not in an environment like yesterday. And look, if I'm being really hypercritical, and I'm not Avi before I get out there, Avi does ask questions that are entertaining, would get eyes on it, clicks, all that sort of thing. So, good on him. But those protesters put themselves in that position. And they're saying some of the most ridiculous things, making some of the most ridiculous arguments that, it's pretty easy to make a bit of fun of it. And we should denigrate it a bit. But at the same time, we should be trying to change things for as many of those kids as possible. There might have been 10,000 kids on the streets yesterday. I'm talking about in Melbourne. I don't know the numbers. I haven't seen any numbers come up. There was a lot of them. Let's say it was 2,000. If we can save one of those kids, it's worthwhile. So people with common sense have got to try and find a way, and this is not going to be a 3-month thing, a 12-month thing. This is going to be a long-term thing, 5-10 years. We've got to find a way to get into our education system, to talk to these kids and say, don't listen to the bullshit you get fed by a lot of your teachers. Go ace your tests. Go ace your subjects, ace your VC results, ace your university, get your degrees. But when you get a socialist teacher or a socialist academic coming trying to win you over to socialism, aka communism, then just ignore them. They're not smarter than you. They're not better than you. They're just trying to manipulate you because you don't have the same knowledge that you will have 10, 20, 30 years down the track. And if they can get at you while you're young, they will do it. And there's plenty of proof of that yesterday if you watch the live stream. But if you watch mainstream media, so it's interesting. I watched a lot of the live stream. I was working, had the live stream going left and kept getting distracted. It was entertaining. So shout out to Avi and Rukshan on that. But it was also, like I said, sad. But then, so what was great about Avi and Rukshan's live stream, you actually saw it as it was happening. You saw the interviews with the people who were there. You saw how insane they were. You saw their foul language. You saw their foul approach to Pauline Hanson and One Nation. You don't have to support them. But if One Nation supporters came out and behaved like that, the media would annihilate them. Call them bogans, bigots, Nazis, which they got called yesterday, fascist, all this sort of thing. But these kids didn't hesitate to go the foul route. Who's guiding these kids? If you look carefully, you'll see them. You'll see the teachers or the welfare recipients, the adults, the 40-year-olds, which Avi did a great job highlighting, that are hanging around manipulating young kids. And it is quite interesting. You'll see this in a minute, how they accuse Avi. Well, you can accuse. I'm critical of Avi. I'm sure Avi's critical of me. But I think my criticisms are fair and legitimate. Avi might not like. Avi would have criticisms of me. I might not like them. But I regularly say to Avi, come on my show. Let's talk it out. All right? So he doesn't take me up. Don't know why. I'm a pretty good guy. I'm not going to be nasty. We might ask some difficult questions, but that's what debate and discussion is all about. And you should stand by what you believe in. For example, Avi cops a lot of flack because he's Israel first. Well, people think he's Israel first. I think there's a fair bit of justification in that argument, by the way. But I don't know because I've never had a discussion with him. I'd like to ask him that question. Where's his loyalties lie? Is it more with Israel or is it more with Australia? Now, if his loyalty lies with Israel and he draws a line in the sand and he digs his heels in, I actually can respect that. That's fine. But at the same time, then you shouldn't be trying to manipulate things here in Australia. Let us Aussies do it. If your loyalties are here towards Australia first, then fine. But maybe don't push the Israel thing so much. You can have an opinion on it, but, Harvey doesn't have an opinion on it. He goes to the other degree. He acts like a Praetorian Guard on it. I just don't think you got to be one or the other. Me, it's simple. I'm Aussie first. Good luck to Israel. I respect them. They're surrounded by 58 Muslim nations that most of them want to tear them down and destroy them. And even the ones that will tolerate them would prefer they're not there. I get that stance, but it's not my issue. My issue is in Australia. I'm worried about Australians. I'm worried about these kids on the streets. I'm worried about our economy. I'm worried about our business. I'm worried about our energy grid. This is why I've got that flag in the corner. This is why I'm up every morning doing this podcast. So I'm using Harvey as an example because you need to. Harvey is very strong in his loyalty towards Israel. I respect that. Absolutely. So we'll probably have some difficult conversations, but I think that would be fair and decent. So Harvey's welcome to come on. But if I actually got a socialist, one of those kids off the street, they'd just try and scream over you and swear at you. Harvey was just asking simple questions. And then they had the adults come in, the people with the green jackets, the organisers, the people who are obviously part of the Socialist Alliance. Don't talk to him. He's centre-right. Oh, can't do that. And every time Harvey tried to get a conversation going, there was this one man in particular. Don't talk to him. That's Harvey Emmoney from Rebel News. So can you not engage in a discussion with somebody else? And even when people wanted to talk to him, he was still trying to do it. That is the very definition of fascism. Feeding people with one narrative, but denying another narrative so you don't have open debate and democracy. You'll see example after example of it. This is what our young people are getting bought into in greater numbers. Now, I remember Socialist Alliance. My dog's got to go out. I'm sorry. Do you want to go out? Yeah. All right. Give me 2 ticks. Come on. He's stealing the show this week. And he's number 2 before and he's number 1 then. You right? He's right. I think he's figured this out. I think he knows you people. Look at the look on his face. He's smiling away. He's happy as Larry. He's chasing clicks like any other bloody influencer, aren't you? Yes, he knows. All right. You got to settle down now. Yes, you do. All right. Socialist Alliance. Get on the couch. Get on the couch. You going to get on the couch? Sorry, guys. JJ, on the couch. Get on the couch. Go on, get on the couch. Up on the couch. He's going to sit on the floor. That's fine. Usually gets like, he's been in a nutty mood this week. I think he's starting to understand that I'm talking to people, so he wants to be in on it. So anyway, Socialist Alliance. The Socialist Alliance has been around for a long time, right? Like when I first started working in the city, which was way back in 1987, 88, whenever Pat Cash won Wimbledon, I think that's 87, when I first came down the city in Melbourne, a bright-eyed country lad. But you had the Social Alliance. Back then you didn't have the internet, obviously. God, we didn't have mobile phones. You had to pick up the old phone and dial it. Great times, though. Absolutely great times. So I worked for about 7 years in the city from that point, and you will walk around, you get off the train, and the Social Alliance would have their little table at Flinders Street Station when you're getting off to go to work, and they'd try and give you a pamphlet, and everyone just ignored them. They were nothing, No one took them seriously. They didn't have any relevance or prevalence in the thing. So it's kind of sad now, and I never thought they'd ever gain traction, because why would anything to do with socialism, once you know it, gain traction? I mean, talk about, it's like this weather, cloudy, grey, dreary. It's a ridiculous way to be surviving. It doesn't promote the potential of the individual. It doesn't promote the joyful things in life. Everyone's got to be dragged down to the common denominator. You're just working for the big brother government. Why kids are attracted to that is beyond me. Like when I went to school, you'd play sport, you'd chase girls, you'd hang out with the mates. You'd go down, with me, it was going down to the news agents, and you'll find this funny. It's like if you watch The Big Bang Theory, we'd have our comics. Comics were a huge thing. You'd have boxes full of your favourite comics. So you'd go down to the news agents and see your favourite comic, and you do all sorts of little things as a teenager and a kid in school. You wouldn't be doing what they did yesterday. It's nuts. You'd get home and watch your favourite TV shows. We didn't have PlayStations. If you wanted to, you go down the arcade with mates and, mark around in a few games down there, kill some times. But you found things, we had better things to do than think about politics. These kids yesterday, they're infested with it. And the sad part, they're infested with politics that are just brain rot. It's done. So what is happening is it is obvious. I mean, also back in my day, you wouldn't have been allowed to skip school to go to a protest. One, your parents would have ripped you. Two, as would your teachers. Your teachers would be contacting your parents. You'd be dragged into school. Your kid wagged school yesterday. Now, if you're going to wag school back in the day, you had to wag school for a good reason. It was because there was some sort of party, or you're going to do something with girls, or doing something like that. It wasn't going on the streets to protest because you knew you were going to get in trouble. So if you're going to wag school, make it for a good reason, not to go to a protest. What a waste of a day. So, now, having said that, a lot of the kids that got interviewed yesterday, they were just out for a bit of fun with their mates. They weren't there for the protest. They had a day off school. They went into the city. They were out for a bit of fun. Now, I'm not too sure if I was a parent, I'd be happy with my kids going into that city with those nutters that exist in that city. But, teenagers are going to be teenagers, aren't they? But obviously, though, there's a lot of them. Now, there was some good interviews with some good sound young minds, which gives you hope. There was one particular interview Avi did. I think he was a kid from Greece, and he's talking about how his grandmother was from Romania, and those parents had educated the kids about the evils of communism and socialism, and they fled to Australia, and they appreciate the life that Australia has given them. This is why I'm not so all in on the remigration thing. I think you're going to catch up a lot of good people that will be real positives for this country. The interesting thing on the protests is how many of them were white? How many of them are actually Asian or dark? Very few. There was a number, but the vast majority were white. Who are the real racists? Why were all these white faces in that protest? And yet they're accusing Pauline Hanson and One Nation of being racist. Just another little thing that demonstrates their hypocrisy. In fact, there's a lot of Indian and Asian types looking on them going, what the hell are these people doing? Oh, my God. No. 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 Just like a kid, he needs to be told no at times. Is he going to get on the couch? Once he gets on the couch, I know he's settled in. Get on the couch. JJ, get on the couch. Go on, get up on there. Get on the couch. He was so close. No, he's back on the floor. I know when he's on the couch, he's settled. He's not going to be settled today. No. Get that face in the background. What are you doing? Oh, my God. What other person has to operate their podcast like this, eh? You want to come and sit with me then? You want to sit there, do you? There you go. He wants to sit at my feet. Hey, sit down. Good boy. All right, I'll have to contend with my sidekick here right now, which will make this podcast a bit hard because I'll be doing it all one-handed. So, now, the bigger point here is how did these kids get here? So we've got teachers going on strike and asking for massive pay rises, like 30%. I mean, I don't know how we afford, in the debt we're in, that we can afford 30%. And if what you're about to see is the result of the education that these teachers give, they shouldn't be getting a pay rise. They should be getting their pays cut. They should be losing their jobs. How many other kids are like these kids that didn't attend yesterday? I've got no doubt a few of them are on some sort of drugs or whatever. But we've got an obligation as the common sense group in this society to try and rescue as many of these kids as we can. I mean, that's the hard part. You know, a lot of people go, no, bugger them, they're the unwanted, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and you could take that attitude, but these are also going to be the people, the future generations, if we want to save this country, that are going to, the socialists will keep pushing, keep recruiting, keep indoctrinating. They'll keep doing it. They've been doing it, like I said, since 1987. They've been doing it a lot longer before that. We've got to find a way to push back in a sensible way. And I think I've got a solution for that, which I'm going to announce next week. I've got to talk to a few people. Where over the next 5 to 10 years, we can do that. It's not a quick solution, but it is a way I think you can get a lot of kids on board in a similar manner to what the socialists do. Learn from your enemy. You know, we're not going to indoctrinate, but we're going to educate. We're going to discuss. We're going to explain to these kids why socialism is so bad. We'll bring people in to meet these kids to explain why socialism is so bad, to meet their parents, to start the discussions at home that need to be discussed, to try and turn Melbourne and Victoria and Australia. These protests happened in every city before everyone slags off at Melbourne. These happened in every city yesterday. And try and save our kids. Try and say there's a better way than what you're being told. You know, the world's not ending. Climate change isn't going to burn you up in an inferno of fire. You know, getting a good job and a good education is worthwhile. Yeah, AI will be challenging, but we'll come out the other side. Don't worry about these globalist bastards. We live in Australia. Let's build Australia. Let's make Australia the best it can be. Don't listen to the socialists that want to tear us down on all number of fronts, whether it's energy, climate, economy, taxes. Let's get government out of our lives. Let's make it great to live in Australia again. Put those ideas and thoughts in their heads. And let's realise also that Christianity is not a negative. It's a positive. And maybe you should explore it. I'm not telling you to become a Christian. Just explore it. Do your research. Make your own mind up. Don't listen to the socialists. Find a different way. A lot of these kids, there would have been so much things they were walking past yesterday that would have been so far more productive for their time. A lot of them would have walked past churches and cathedrals. How good would it have for them to go on in and just pray, talk to the priest, found a Bible, read the Bible, done a bit of research on history. They would have walked past the library. They were at the state library. Go inside and read a few books. Anyway, we're going to get in, like I said, into the social media a bit quicker today because I want you to have a look at some of these kids and the people that were around them. So, see, my dog's distracted me so much. I haven't got my X up. Give me a tick. Still down behind me. He's not on his couch. My dog's got more sense than those protesters yesterday. He knows how to manipulate me, put it that way. Oh, my God. What am I doing? There's my share screen. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me for a tip. Got to get this up. My NBN is still pretty slow. I like when I get my X clips up. Oh, my God. I've got that blue circle going. I like when I get my X clips up because I can take some time to drink my coffee then. So we'll see how we go. Come on. My goodness. Where's the refresh button? Try it again. Here we go. Now it's working. Is it? No, it's not. Blue circle again. Oh, my God, we're slow. NBN. Isn't this Kevin Rudd and Malcolm Turnbull bloody big answer? You know, we're going into AI. It was only in 2007. So AI is not like it's a recent thing. It's been around for a while where it was going. But Kevin Rudd and Malcolm Turnbull was this big broadband idea that was supposed to give us this hugely quick internet. We spent billions on it, and it's hugely slow. It's crazy. Anyway, here we go. We're going to share it. Let's see some of the antics from tomorrow as I comment on it. Or from yesterday. There's going to be a lot of commentary today. Bro, let's have a look.
It's exactly Pauline Hanson who wants us to think that immigrants are the reason for the housing crisis.
True. That's a big factor. And look at these kids booing. They don't know what the hell
Pauline Hanson who wants us to think that women shouldn't have access to abortion care.
She didn't say that at all, so that's a lie. I wish she would say that. Look at some of these faces. How does a girl like that, for example, get indoctrinated to go to these attendances?
She wants us to think that there are no good Muslims. Shame! And she's the one who wants us to think we're being swamped by Asians. Shame!
Let's see who the speaker is. That's what I'm keen on saying. I didn't say it. There's some here I'm going,
exactly Pauline who wants us to think.
Some of the speakers, and what do we got here? Is this more? Protests in Australia made up of young kids who were allowed to leave school early if they attended, featured radical speakers like this socialist saying, you should become a socialist. You should fight for a socialist world. Here we go. This is the indoctrination.
I remember on socialism, consider that you yourself should become a socialist. You yourself should join the fight against this system and fight for a better world, a socialist world.
Maybe he should go and live in a socialist country for 5-10 years and realize how he's good he's got it, not listening to socialist. I mean, look at the red flags. That's communism. That's the old Soviet Socialist Republic flag. That's the Chinese flag. It was interesting. It was just all red flags are waving. How we live in a country where socialism can actually be a factor is actually frightening for future generations.
I'm a socialist. I remember on socialism alternative because I think we need a revolution to tear.
We need a revolution to tear this system down. Now, I'm not opposed to going against Town Hall and going against Big Brother that is government in our pockets. But to tear our system down, to cause a revolution, that's where you got to draw a line. But these people will believe it. Consider that you yourself should become a socialist. And this is what this protest all day yesterday was about. It was manipulated by the Socialist Alliance. Listen to this dippy one. Just listen to her.
Stand up for what's right and show what kids want.
And what is it you want?
Is that? What do kids want? More diversity.
We're here to say no to the fascist far-right policies of Pauline Hanson.
Okay, they talk about fascism. Was there one speaker that was allowed to speak against what they were protesting about? Because if you are only allowing one narrative spoken, you are then indeed a fascist. These kids wouldn't know what fascism means.
Protesting for what's right.
And what would that be?
And, like, what's wrong with what she's doing.
And she wouldn't even know.
Just how she acts and stuff. Like, as my sign says, she is racist, sexist, and a Nazi. And
Racist, sexist, and a Nazi. Now, I've never really... Okay, she did say we could be swamped by Asians. Well, after 30 years, she's been proven right. That doesn't make you a racist. That's say she's been proven right. It was a fact. The immigration we've had is Australia has changed from a country that was predominantly Anglo-European, white, and to now where we're multicultural. So she's not a racist. I mean, she's one of the few politicians that brought Indigenous women into Parliament to highlight their issues. She's not a fascist. She gets up every day. She gets on media. She gets in Parliament. And she engages in democracy. She goes and fights for votes so she can get into Parliament. Has done that for 30 years. That's the very essence of a Democrat. She's hardly a fascist. And they just throw these labels around. Why do they throw these labels around? Why does a young girl throw that label at her? Because when you sit down and have a discussion, her whole narrative would fall apart. But she throws that label because she's been fed that label.
just no one really wants her as a president.
No, actually, listen to this. She's claiming she's a fascist, but she doesn't know the actual style of government she's in. Listen to her answer here. It's
no
hilarious.
one really wants her as a president, or not president, like minister. She is
Listen
racist,
to that.
sexist, and a Nazi, and just no one really wants her as a president, or not president, like minister.
That's our education system. She doesn't even know what the head of our nation is, whether it's a president, a minister, what is it, the governor? The teachers want to pay rise. That's why these kids should be back in the bloody classroom getting a bit of proper education. What goes on in our classrooms? Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Here we go. Here's another. This apparently, imagine if a group of One Nation or March for Australia people did this. What would the media do? Have a listen. Excuse the language. Now, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to turn the silence down. I'm going to play it and I'm going to pause it a bit. And I've already done that. Have a look at the faces in the crowd. You know, white. Kids at the back are laughing. They think it's a great joke. White girl. Don't know. Asian girl, I think. White girl. White girl. Is that a girl or a boy? Can't tell. White girl. Why do you think all the boys are sitting in the back? I can tell you now why the boys, except for this one who might be trans, I don't know. They're all sitting in the back because that's where all the girls are. They're not there to protest. They're there chosen. Look at the smile on this kid. He thinks it's a great fun. That's a boy, I think. But predominantly the vast majority are white girls. Trans rights. So there you go. I was going to say this one's got to be trans. So this is what they're feeding our kids at school. They're feeding the LGBTQI activism and the socialist activism. And the main victims are white girls. Look at all the speakers. They're all girls. Why are women so sucked into this bullshit? We'll see as a scan, see whether it changes. Another white girl's come into the camera. Let's pause it. Let's skim across. White girl. Could be a girl. White girl. More white girls. Couple of Asians that are laughing. They're not saying anything. And I can tell you now, a lot of the Asians love Hanson. White girl, look, he's not yelling anything. He's smiling. He's not yelling anything. He thinks it's a great joke. White girls, all the ones saying F you, they're predominantly the white girls. The boys just think it's a great day out, having a bit of fun. They don't care. And when they become tradies, they won't be socialists anymore. All right. So let's see if it scans further. Over there. So you've got a few Asians at the front. But again, Asian girl. The boys aren't yelling anything. Look at them. They think it's a great day out. He's not yelling anything. Even these girls here are just having a bit of fun. So the vast bulk of the ones protesting, you've got the ones out the back. Ones out the back are usually, they're not right into it. They're just there to see what's going on. They're having a bit of fun. But the media would use that. Say, oh, there's thousands there. Yeah. And if you look at that, there's probably, a couple hundred. And look, everyone in the background's going about their business. Don't believe the media. Just do not believe them on everything they say. And so it is interesting when you take the sound away and just look at the faces. What's this idiot saying? All the Greens have is fear 4 billion people will die. And this is what they feed them at school. This is the exact crap they feed them at school. Let's have a listen.
We are facing up to 4 billion people dead this century. 4 billion people dead. We are facing death, disease, starvation, famine, fire, flood, pestilence.
He's been reading the Bible way too much. The worst parts.
War, displacement and ecosystem collapse. A future where our actual civilization crumbles and collapses around it. And we're going to get a tiny taste of that in the next 6 months because there is a record El Nino.
El Ninos have been happening for centuries, well before the Industrial Revolution. So he's using the weather to put the fear of God in the kids. This is what would be happening in our education system.
Forming, again, a frightening, terrifying, climate-driven event.
No, it happens all the bloody time. We're in for a hot summer. Happens all the bloody time.
Which could lead to some of the most extreme weather events humanity has faced for decades.
So he's an opportunist. This El Nino's come around, I don't know, once a decade, once 20 years, whatever it is, but they're a perfectly natural part of the weather system. It's not climate change, it's the weather. And he's using this to push the fear of God. This guy's an evil prick. He's a Green senator. And he is, he's worse than a socialist. He's a communist, dressed as a Green. So that's what the Green Party's been taken over by. This is interesting, this one. So this is a News 24 woman. So now,
as you can see.
So this is News 24. This lady here is a reporter. Don't have a lot of time for mainstream media, but kudos to this lady. She chased him down. So all these kids are marching against fascism. This is the hypocrisy of the whole event. So fascism is supposed to stop certain, again, narratives, like I've said. So she's engaging in democracy. She's covering an event. She's trying to get it to everybody at home. This is the very essence of having a free media, is against fascism. So when you've got a group that wants to silence media, that is a fascist group. So these guys should be encouraging media to think they're not fascist, right? Well, watch one of their people do.
There's so many students out here protesting today. Similar sentiment to where Kaiser is.
He steals a phone. Now, most of the others, to their credit, are just watching. Faces him down.
Give it back! 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 Give it back!
Now, credit here to Avi and his security guys because they helped corner this guy to get her property back. This is Melbourne. You got arseholes like this running around stealing things like this.
She's on my microphone. It's in her bag.
That's Avi. There's Avi. Just remember that.
So eventually I was able to chase that protester through the packed crowd of thousands of protesters to eventually retrieve it. They had put it inside that Coles bag that you can see from my video there. Eventually we'll be able to retrieve it and bring it out. We were actually, there's people that actually had saw it happen a short time ago, but there's certainly no shortage of protesters here. They're in the trees, they're out in the streets, they had blocked trams. So Ash, there's certainly a large police presence here today. These many protesters protesting against Pauline Hanson and One Nation.
And the good news, most of them can't vote. And by the time they can vote and they've got a job and they're paying taxes and they realise they've been lied to, they will turn probably into One Nation voters themselves. But it just highlights, and it is important, none of those protesters helped retrieve her gear. Who helped retrieve her microphone and gear that got stolen? Avi Yemeni and his security groups, the very antithesis, I think that's the way you say it, or the very opposite of these protesters. Avi's no socialist. Avi is very much a One Nation supporter. It's interesting they were protesting One Nation, did nothing about helping retrieve this woman's property, but it was the One Nation supporters that did help her. Interesting. Well done, Avi and his crew. And like I said, I'm not one to be not critical of Avi, but credit where credit is due. You've got to be fair. So let's go on our bookmark. That's just that's just random tweets in my feed. I've got bookmarks to go through. So I think this is one of the most important parts that we're facing as a society, one of the most important aspects. So One Nation went undercover. This will be fun. Let's have a listen.
Let's hear what they have to say. I'm at the students' protest against Pauline Hanson. Let's hear what they have to say.
Kudos to this kid.
Guys, what would you do if Pauline Hanson were here today?
I would fucking...
White girl.
I'd shoot her.
I'd shoot her. Where do they get these attitudes from? Because she has a different political opinion, that shooter. Isn't that the very definition of fascism that they're protesting? No, white people. White girl. Girls, what are they? Where have our girls gone? And what's she going on about? Pauline Hanson lives in a country that gave your family a second chance, you silly bitch.
Aston, do you believe that Pauline Hanson is a fascist?
Oh, well, 100%.
What do you think the punishment for that fascism should be?
I'll bring back the guillotine, I think.
Guillotine? Isn't that a bit ironic?
Yeah.
That she's a fascist, but you're the one who wants to kill your political enemies?
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely ironic.
Well done, boys. They're taking the mickey out of them.
So would that make you a fascist?
Possibly.
Were you encouraged by your teachers or anyone to skip school today to come to the protest?
Listen, okay, not in a legal sense. They didn't directly encourage it, but they did not discourage it. Oh no, you're sick. God, it's so unfortunate. The whole class is unwell. No class today.
But they were happy for you to go?
Oh, very much. I got a lovely note from my music teacher saying, "Oh, thank you. I'm assuming everyone who's not here is at the protest. Love you guys, and work extra hard for me."
Yeah, I came out here. It was pretty fun.
So you're just here to skip school?
Yeah, I guess.
Well done, that lad, taking the mickey out of it. What killer? I mean, God, where do they get these attitudes from? Where are their parents doing? Dusty Martin. Is that Dusty Martin? Got to watch a bit of footy.
The lines forward, they haven't really been able to kick the ball to the advantage.
It's Dusty.
Oh, Martin and Prestia. Look at that dynamite.
Oh, how good was that? Back in the day.
From the Tigers out of the guts. The lines
Doesn't get better than that. Got to watch that again. Dusty, Prestia, look at this. He doesn't kick like that now.
Look at that dynamite. Dynamite stuff from the Tigers out of the guts. The lines forward.
Back in the day when we were a great club. Oh, my God. Don't know how long it's going to be before that happens again. Here we go. I'm not even into my bookmarks. This is Harvey talking to a socialist.
Neo-Nazis.
I'm connected to...
I know that you're connected with the neo-Nazis.
I'm connected to...
Oh God, Harvey's. I gotta say, I feel for Harvey. On one side, he's connected to the Nazis. On the other side, he's connected to the Zionists, or what's the Mossad. On both sides, he cops it.
You should be ashamed of yourself. I know that you're connected with the neo-Nazis.
I'm connected to it.
You should be ashamed of yourself. I know.
My God, this is what we're dealing with. I'm still in my feed. I've done a lot of this, but this is disgraceful. Grayson was miscarried at 19 weeks. Yeah, poor kid. The revolution has begun by the anti-capitalists, the socialists, and the communists. I wonder if they know how many innocents died for this to happen, as we keep seeing on the West our tolerance to many apologies. So this is the type of people that organise this march. Let's have a listen.
Are you anti-capitalist?
Do you believe in workers' power?
Then you need to come to our Radical Revs course, where we talk about the Russian Revolution and the incredible gains made by the Russian working class.
The next session will be about the October insurrection and the moment workers took power.
Join us on the 27th of June at 1 p.m. in Footscray.
The big lisp and doesn't know what he's picking about. Again, this is what kids get sucked into. They're promoting the Russian Revolution. Do they realize how many people died in the Russian Revolution? Do they realize how the royal family was murdered in the Russian Revolution? That tells you a lot about the people behind the Russian Revolution. Just curious about that. I mean, it's just couldn't come out. Oh, that's about, don't care. All right, time to get in our bookmarks. Where are our bookmarks? Is that it? I don't know. They've changed the bloody. Well, that's interesting. Bookmark folders. We're going to that. No. They've changed the way. I hate when they do that. They change the format and they don't tell you. Anyway, let's go into it. So Corey Bernardi, this is funny. Have a look again.
But they should be well informed. And as per the conversation I've just had with one of their elder statesmen, they really don't know what they're talking about. At the moment they're chanting to get rid of Pauline Hanson. I won't use the vernacular, but they don't know why. They say that Pauline Hanson is a popularly elected politician, as the federal leader of the second most popular party in South Australia, has done something wrong because we want to put.
Now listen to this guy.
We want to put South Australians first, put Australians first. We've got.
How dare he be here? It's a public place, you idiot.
We've got an assortment of incels, unintelligent, unemployable people.
We stand against everything you are for. How dare you?
How dare you be here? When did this guy was made the police and can control?
I'm sure your parents are proud of you.
Absolutely are.
So what we've got is people like this who don't have any tolerance. They want to see socialism. They're supporting socialism. They're supporting.
Thousands of students are here to say how disgusted they are with you.
Corey Bernardi had a lot of fun yesterday. He did stir the pot quite a bit. You hate Pauline Hanson. Listen to this kid. And where the hell? I mean, this is who they've got on their protest.
Piece of shit. And she acts like a dictator. We're here to fuck Pauline's mom.
Lovely. What background's he's from? You can guess, can't you?
None of us like her. She is a racist, democratic piece.
She's a racist, democratic piece of shit. She's a Democrat. She can't be a fascist. This is the level of IQ that our education system is producing. Not this kid's fault. It's his parents' fault. It's the education.
Piece of shit. And she acts like a dictator, and we don't respect that shit.
Well, you can't be a Democrat and act like a dictator. I'd love to get this kid on the podcast. It would be so much fun. But all he can do is swear and be foul-mouthed and do all this. I'm not going to pretend I'm innocent. I can swear and be foul-mouthed too. But have some nuance behind it. Have some understanding. Have some IQ behind it.
Change Australia. And you know what? Fuck Pauline!
That's the level of their debate. This is what our education system is producing. Our teachers should go and hide in shame. They won't. They'll be back in the classrooms today, patting themselves on the back. Here's another example. White woman with rinsed coloured hair, whatever it is. Let's have a listen.
When I say Hanson, you say fuck.
Just, again, have a quick look. They're manipulating these kids. White girl. White girl. White girl. And what are they holding? F off Pauline Hanson. White girl. White girl. White girls. Oh, we got some boys. White girl, white girl, white girl, white girl, white girl, white girl. Who are the ones shouting? A couple of the boys, you're always going to get a few male idiots. White girl, white girl. So again, predominantly white girls in the front. White girl. White girl. And she would be an adult. This would be a teacher, this thing. And she's in her element. There you go. Socialist alternative. Red flags everywhere. White girl, well, maybe Asian girl. White girl. So it's filled with white girl again. White girl. Why are we producing white girls like this? White girl. And all getting lectured to by clearly a child of immigrant descent. So now this is where the mass immigration starts becoming an issue. I've got no problem them engaging in public debate and policy, but the country that they've fled to that's given them a better life, they're now campaigning for a socialist organisation, as you heard before, that wants to tear it down. This is our youth coming through. Now, it's not all our youth. It's not even a majority of our youth, but it's a significant part.
We are not outnumbered.
No, this part. Watch at the end. Again, white girl. Oh, Islamist girl. That's interesting. White girl, white girl. Women. New South Wales socialist. Why is it that women, girls, are getting dragged into this bullshit? Listen to what Sherry's got to say. This is evidence of this thing, all right? The microphone that got sold. There's a reason I'm showing you this.
Amazing new footage. Avi Yemeni's team took this. You can see Georgie Dickerson running down the street chasing the attacker. If we can play that again, she's in the black coat. The man who stole, not attacker, but the man who
does take guts. This guy could have easily had a knife.
She runs down and chases him, and then she kind of grabs him.
Now have a look. That's Avi's security crew. There's Rukshan. That's, I think, Nick Madison. Is it Patterson? Sorry. And they've helped out. Good on them. And look at this. You saw all of those white girls. Who's saving this woman, this white woman, this reporter? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 white Aussie men. Now, Rukshan, black Aussie men. But men.
Amazing footage.
There's Avi in there. So they've stopped this guy and got the...
That's Avi Yemeni's security team. He needs 6 security, and they step in and they actually retrieve the microphone for her. If we can just play the beginning bit of that.
Have they got the cops onto it?
Again, because it's just incredible.
Not that they're doing it. The legal let him out.
Well,
no, that's the reporter chasing him down.
I'm in awe of how she...
Well, you shouldn't be in awe, Sherry. But good on her.
And then she kind of grabs him from behind. Look at that, Matt. Matt, this is amazing.
Now Sherry's going over the top. All right. Good on that girl for chasing him down, but, you know. Okay.
Oh, you took the words out of my mouth, Sherry.
Sherry, I can't stand Sherry Markson, to be honest. Now, talking can't standing people, this guy, he obviously spends all morning plucking his eyebrows. Now, recently, he had an incident I've got it. How long does this go for? I'm going to listen to that in a minute. I haven't done the message. Now, we've watched all that. Listen to the 9 coverage. Do they cover a lot of the people that were talking about, you just heard them, F. Pauline Hanson, let's shoot her, let's kill her, she's a racist, she's a faggot, they want to F her grandmother, they want to do all this. All this was there on the streets. Their reporters were in the middle of it. Let's see how they report it.
Thousands of high school and university students have skipped the classroom to rally against the rise of One Nation.
And that's how I highlighted in that coverage how many of those were white Aussie girls that have been indoctrinated. Yet Channel 9 get a picture of an Asian girl and maybe an Asian girl, can't tell. But they're not your typical white Aussie girls. And then you got a black girl in the back. Funny how they're highlighting faces that weren't predominant in the crowd. You saw the video that I just showed you. It was white Aussie girls that were in that protest. They were the worst of them. But let's keep watching.
It was loud on city streets as Barnaby Joyce called the protesters delusional. Ollie Haig was there.
A sea of uniforms shut down city streets.
I just want to say something. Sorry, guys.
Their message was loud on city streets as Barnaby Joyce called the protesters
That girl's from a Christian college. She's wearing a Christian logo on a school uniform, and she's probably a prefect. See the label she's got? And she's out there doing that. I mean, if I was a parent sending my girl, paying good money, she would be paying, if it's an Anglican college, it would be even more, a grammar school. This girl's probably getting a fortune paid for her school fees to be in school and learning. And here, that's capitalism. That's not socialism. You'd be in a public school. There would be no private schools. They're paying a fortune, and she's out protesting with the Socialist Alliance. Her parents need to sit her down and explain what capitalism is. By the colour of their ties, these two girls go to the same school. That's actually pretty shameful. Does she realise what socialist, communist countries have done to Christians and Catholics over the century?
delusional. Ollie Haig was there.
That boy goes, that's a uniform because it's a very rare uniform. He goes to Beaumaris Secondary College. So, you know, that's from down in the heartland of capitalism. That's a school up the road from me. So, you know, there's capitalists everywhere here. They've all got their own mansions and whatever. So interesting, he's there. Look, he's anti-capitalist. He's carrying a banner, but he lives in one of the most well-to-do areas in Melbourne. What a hypocrite.
Sea of uniforms shut down city streets. Thousands of high school and university students ditched the classroom to protest against the rise of One Nation.
Just trying to see if there's anything on the school stuff. No, can't identify that. But still should be in school. So that crescent, that's a grammar school thing. That's not a public school thing, I don't think. I could be wrong, but that looks, you don't usually get that, what do they call those? The feathers or whatever you get for the Olympic, the wreaths on there. I could be wrong. But you reckon she's saying that because she believes in it?
How many people have left from your school?
I think a lot. Like a lot of people.
The steps of the state.
The question there is not should be how many kids have left from your school, how many kids have been indoctrinated in your school.
Library littered with posters.
So, get another Christian college. That's that same girl. So that's the two girls I used in the highlight in the front. Just trying to read. Can't read it. I'd love to find out which school this is at. But that's private schools and with a Christian thing on it. So parents must be
students from all back.
Can't tell.
Backgrounds steadfast in their views.
I don't like their policies. I don't want to live in a future where One Nation is in government.
Why not? Could they be any worse than what we've been doing, dickhead? I mean, seriously, who are his parents filling his heads? Is this a mum and a daughter?
Australia to be a place where everyone can live.
I came here
Is One Nation stopping that?
because my best friend is transgender.
So?
Is this your first ever protest?
Yeah.
Some climbing trees and monuments, others bringing their parents.
You brought your daughter down?
Shameful.
Absolutely. She actually asked me to come
Bullshit.
down, so I'm really proud of her.
One Nation returning fire.
This was inspired
Absolutely,
by a
Barnaby.
socialist clique of people who pathologically dislike One Nation.
We're definitely not racist. If you have a look at our followers, our members, our candidates, there is a diverse range of people within that.
Of course, the vast majority of people here in the crowd can't vote, but they say this is how they send a message to our political leaders that One Nation is not welcome in Australia.
We just want to make a stand that when we can vote, then none of this will go on.
wait till he gets a job and he has to leave home and he has to go find an apartment or a house and he's trying to fight for a promotion or he's running a business. I guarantee you that attitude will change in a heartbeat. Actually, Ben Carroll is very good here. I give him credit. Listen to what Ben Carroll's got to say.
The best way to change your future in the world is to get an education and to stay in school.
100%. Well said, Premier. Ben Carroll's a threat. I think a lot of people are underestimating him. What he just said there would resonate. Mind you, he's also was in charge of the education system, but he was fighting against their pay rise. So, interesting.
The march is now slated for September 17.
So they're going to go again on September 7. All these marches, seriously.
We recognise that it's a long-term fight.
White girl.
Ollie Haig.
And you know what? She's right there. It is a long-term fight. And it's going to be a long-term fight for people like you and me to recruit younger ones, to educate them and to push back hard on this bullshit.
News.
But as an example, what negative? Where was the FU Hanson? Where was the threats to Hanson's life? Where was all that coverage? I mean, that was, if you watched Arvy's live stream, it was prevalent amongst the whole protest, but we didn't. So what do we got here? We're going a bit longer today. Look, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to do this without sound. I'm going to be fair here a little bit before we have a bit of fun at their expense. Now, Arvy did find this crew yesterday. Won the keffiyeh scarf. I mean, God. Oh, sorry. Want the sound up. See the guy with the keffiyeh stuff? He was trying to corner Arvy to get a bit of a click, and Arvy just ignored him. I love it. Now, we're going to have a bit of fun at this kid's expense. I don't know whether it's a he or she. I'm assuming it's a he because of the deep thing in his voice. You'll see why in a minute. But what parent's responsible for this? If you see he's got ear piercings, I'll call him he. He's got lip piercings, the blonde hair that's rinsed blue. And we can look at that. There you go. See the no piercing. Look, that's a guy. All right. He's on drugs. She's on drugs. I don't know whether that's a he or she. So we got an interesting group here. But these are actually kids. This is a kid. What parent allows their kid to do this to themselves? I don't look at this. Look, we will have a bit of a laugh. So you're allowed to have a laugh. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also have a lot of empathy for this kid. Somehow his life has been ruined, that he thinks he's got to change the colour of his hair. He's got to get ear piercings and nose piercings. He's got to come out and protest and swear, and he should be in the best years of his life. Leave your hair alone. Don't pierce your body just yet. Don't try and change you up. My guess is they're all on drugs. You'll see why. And he's hanging around with some real evil influences in his life. Probably all these three. Why have they gotten this way so quickly? Why has our education system let them down? Why have their parents let them down? We need to try to do our very best to provide young ones like this with some hope. So I'm having a very different, probably, angle at this. We have to try, and this is what I would say, rescue these kids from this ideology. And to prevent other kids like these in the background, as you can see, they're looking at them a bit queer, to make sure they never go down the same road. But I actually feel for this kid. You know, if he had better influences around him, if he had better mentors, better educators, he wouldn't be where he is now. So I'm going to show you the tape, but keep that in the back of your mind. And Harvey does take the mickey out of him, which is fair enough. I've got no issue with these. But this one looks like he doesn't even know what day it is. You'll see why in a minute. And they've only got 3 words. I love the way he brushes this guy off. It's hilarious. That one's really funny.
Fuck off, Nazis!
Here's the link.
Fuck off, Nazis!
What made you so angry in life?
Fuck off, Nazis!
Literally.
Fuck off, Nazis!
Am I the Nazi?
These two look high as kites. Look at them. They join in the chorus.
Fuck off, Nazis!
Am I the Nazi?
Fuck off, Nazis!
You seem to need help.
Fuck off, Nazis!
Do they support you at your school?
Fuck off, Nazis! Fuck off, Nazis!
Look at this one in the background. God, these kids could be living such positive lives and they've chosen this path. Look at these two. They're just having a bit of fun. They think this is hilarious. Hey, that's RVM, and can we get on the camera? This is what they should be like. This is
When you get it out of your system.
Fuck off, Nazis!
They're having a bit of fun.
White privilege.
Fuck off, Nazis!
Do you like Daniel?
Now, it's interesting. If I'm watching this, and I've coached thousands of young men, if I saw, let's say these two were in my basketball team, I would be sitting them down and having a bit of a chat and having a bit of fun with it, but that would lead to a more serious conversation. And I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but I can talk to young ones. I've been doing it for 40 years. You can actually talk to them and talk some sense to them. You'd be surprised how quickly you can turn them. I reckon I could have a sit down with these two boys and have a very interesting conversation. Would love to get them on the.
Go to school.
And these two are just watching in the background. Love to talk to them. I talk to my boys all the time.
Go to school. We love Albanese.
That's interesting.
There we go.
I just want to see that kid's top.
Fuck off, Nazis!
Can't get a good look of it because the bloody Rebel News feed you.
I feel like we can get a song going. Go to school, bro.
That is another Christian cross on the top of that. I wouldn't be surprised whether that's a Wesley shirt, actually. Wesley Grammar.
Go to school. We love Albanese.
Nazis!
There we go. Called Albanese a Nazi.
Yeah.
This kid thinks it's a great laugh.
You sound racist, bro. You guys sound racist.
So those kids have got some hope. They're going to grammar school. You can see they're well raised, clean cut. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, being clean cut. And they've got some hope for a better life. These ones, though, God, what hope have they got? And listen, if you're a Christian, God looks at them the same way he looks at those other kids. These are his children. We've got to find a way. You won't save them all, but you've got to.
What do you think about the Greens?
Nazis! Fuck off, Nazis!
What do you think about the Greens?
Fuck off, Nazis! Fuck off, Nazis!
I tend to agree with her.
Kids on drugs. Oh my God! And this probably is their mum. You got to watch that live stream. I mean, look at her. That would be the mother of those kids. Ah, life. I'm just trying to find. I might have him in clips. Yeah, I've gone too far. Let's do this last one of the protest. How annoying that Indian guy is. Let's have a listen. What? So this is from how annoying that Indian guy. Yeah, so Australia needs to change so I can fit in, even though I wasn't born here. This is why people are sick of Brett. Well, this guy's obviously a bit thin, but a little racist. But let's listen to what he's got to say.
I'm here with hundreds of Victorian students who have walked out of the classroom protesting against Pauline Hanson and One Nation.
White girl,
students from public and private schools have gathered here today at the State Library. I spoke to some of them today.
A huge crowd.
Here's what they had to say.
I want to stand against Pauline Hanson.
Why, dickhead? You get back to school. Goodness me. Not even out of puberty.
I don't want Australia to be more associated with the US than it already is.
Who puts these ideas in these kids' head? Mate, you're a young boy. Go back to school. Meet a girl. Do something. Oh, my God. Forget the politics for 10 years.
I don't want our resources to go to wars in the Middle East that are oppressing people like the Palestinians in Gaza. And that's why I'm here.
Go to Gaza and see how you go. Still trying to look at these young students.
to protest for my rights as an immigrant member from an immigrant family. I want to make sure that my country is run by someone that isn't trying to kick
your country.
us out, so we have a safe future for our future generations as well.
Future generations of who? I'm not too sure about that. White girls, white boys, they're just out for a day out. Sorry, the boys are out for a day out. You can see that a mile off. I've been around.
As the youth of the nation, we should make sure that our future leaders aren't people that are targeting any minority.
Now, she hasn't targeted any minority. What she's targeted is illegal immigrants. Are you the son of an illegal immigrant? And, you know, I don't want to be racist, but sorry, and I'm not a racist, but I do get a bit sick of immigrants coming across here, fleeing their country to get a better life here, and then trying to tear down this country and saying how we should govern it, how we should conduct our affairs over here. Be grateful to the country that's giving you this chance at life, and also engage in the politics properly. She's not targeting any minority or groups. That's a load of shit.
Any groups, we should make sure our futures are safe for our future generations. We don't want to create what's happened in the past again.
Yeah, but Aussies don't want a lot of what we're being provided. So, yeah.
Certain group. So let's make sure our nation is safe, welcoming, as it's always been. It's a multicultural nation.
No, it's not, mate. It's not a multicultural nation. And this is the problem with the old multicultural nation. We can welcome immigrants in. We can welcome people to a new life, but it's an Australian nation. It's not a multicultural nation. All right? So shove that where the sun don't shine.
Let's make it a happy place for everyone to join.
Herald Sun. Oh, goodness me. Now, there's one issue that really came up for me. I hope I've got this. I'll see if I've got it in my here we go. If I haven't saved this, I'm going to, here we go. Is that it? Group voting tickets. No. Here we go. This is Joel Jamal. Joel Jamal. As you can see, he obviously plucks his eyebrows, very manicured. But he's talking about, you remember this journalist who got a microphone stolen? Now, Joel recently had a big biff breakup with Avi Yemeni over a claim that he was offered $300,000 by Israel to say positive things about Israel. Now, I call bullshit on that straight away. I'd like to see receipts. Joel Jamal is a nobody. Nobody really knows who he is. Most of you probably don't realise who he is. But remember, it was pretty often, it was Avi's security team and Avi and Rukshan themselves that helped stop this guy. Does Joel mention them? Let's have a listen.
So the first images are just coming out of these anti-Pauline marches that were supposedly organised by students, and I'm struggling to find the damn students. And to make matters worse, they're completely...
Well, see, this guy engages in misinformation. He's every bit as bad as a socialist. Because if you're being fair and you're watching that, there's plenty of students there. They're actually in school uniform. So how is he struggling to find the students? That there is a lot of shit already.
Classless. This is how they're actually acting.
It was during my live cross to you around 20 minutes ago that we had a protester come and snatch the microphone out of my hand during a live cross. This is the moment. As you can see, there's...
Why didn't the media include that swearing so people knew what they were dealing with?
So many students out here protesting today. Similar sentiment to where Kaiser is.
So keep watching this. Watch what Joel does at the end. Or watch what Joel doesn't do at the end.
Give it back. Give it back. Give it back. Let it go. She saw my microphone. It's in her bag.
They're showing the image of this. You can see Avi's security crew there.
I was able to chase that protester through the packed crowd of thousands of protesters to eventually retrieve it. They had put it inside that Coles bag that you can see from my video there. Eventually we'll be able to retrieve it and bring it out.
So let me get this straight.
Now,
we're all going to wear...
just remember, this Joel guy, he would have edited this clip. He would have known what he's putting through. He's put clips of himself into this. Sherry Markson, I don't like Sherry Markson, but to her credit, she acknowledged Avi and his crew. Does Joel.
Wear masks, so we can't identify your age.
If you saw that mask, what's interesting from a feed is that clip is actually from the COVID years, 2022. COVID protests, and he doesn't even realise that. And this guy puts himself across as being super smart, doesn't even realise the clips
You're
that
going
have
to
been
take
shown.
journalist mics, which I would never encourage. That is ridiculous. Whilst I don't like the media, I try to outshine the shills.
You can't outshine anyone, Joel.
Rather than steal their damn mic. And then you're going to call Pauline a fascist and her movement fascists and her members of her parties fascists while stealing journalists' mics. What the hell's wrong with you? I mean, if I was One Nation, I would be shooting you guys a check to do another march exactly like this right before the Victorian election.
He's not wrong there.
Exactly what people are sick of in Victoria.
It's one for an acknowledgement of having his security crew here.
You're hurting One Nation by doing this, and especially going after this lovely lady journalist from News 24. You got another thing coming, and so keep doing this stuff, keep pushing this out there, and I'll be very shocked if most of the people at these marches were actually students. I think they're
Actually, a lot of them were, dickhead.
wearing a mask for a reason.
Oh my God, he is so dumb. Did he watch any of the clips at all? Did he watch the live stream at all? The worst part about that, he obviously did, because he's highlighted this mic, but he never acknowledged. Now, I'm critical of Harvey, but this guy is a piece of shit. And funnily enough, he doesn't want to give Harvey any credit. So I'm going to go. I haven't listened to this. I want to see. Let's see together whether this guy is the piece of shit I think he might be. I could be wrong. Group voting tickets abolished in Victoria. Harvey played a huge part in that. I don't know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. Only time will tell. If David Limbrick gets voted out, we end up with a Labor Green upper house, and it's a stupid move. I got a nasty feeling it could be. But he's Joel again. Does he acknowledge? And I don't like Monica Schmidt. I'm not a big fan. I'd love to have Monica Schmidt on my program. We could talk all sorts of things. We do share certain agreements. But does he acknowledge him? Is he gracious enough to acknowledge Harvey? Let's have a listen. I've not seen this clip yet. I was very interested after that. We're going to find out together what sort of person Joel really is. Let's see.
Of the upper house. Ladies and gentlemen, the group voting tickets for Victoria have been abolished. What does this mean? What is a group voting ticket? And how is this going to...
And not too sure why Joel lives in New South Wales. It's interesting he's getting stuck in the Victorian politics. But anyway.
Actually help One Nation a lot in the Victorian state election in November. Well, first things first, the group voting ticket system meant that you didn't control your preferences. It basically meant that whichever party you put a 1 for in the upper house on the ballot, you wouldn't control where the preferences would flow. The party would submit a form called a group voting ticket, and they would control where the votes flowed. So often, you would find out that your votes flowed to...
Notice he's got a cross in his background. That's very interesting. If he doesn't acknowledge Harvey here, if he doesn't acknowledge Harvey, Monica and Rukshan, now I followed that live stream with Harvey, Monica and Rukshan, and you've got to give them the credit for bringing down this group voting ticket. They did it. I don't know whether it's a smart idea, but they're the ones that brought it about. He has a Christian cross in the background. Let's see if he mentions them.
A left-wing party if you voted for a right-wing party, which is obviously a problem for me. So what the changes have now happened is it's a lot like the federal election. You will number 1 to 5 members of the upper house, basically parties in the upper house, and you get to better pick which parties you want them to flow to. The other thing is that they have kept the regions. So in New South Wales, we don't have regions for the upper house. We have one electorate for the upper house. So you need about 4% of the vote to get elected. In Victoria, the upper house is split into 8 different regions, meaning that only 5 members can get up per region. There's 40 members of the upper house. And so the fact that the group voting tickets are gone now, and with One Nation polling, I'm expecting One Nation to be in the running to get at least 1, maybe 2 seats in almost every region.
Now, that is interesting. So what he's actually saying there now, because of group voting tickets, people like David Limbrick, Tim Quilty and others who have been very good in our upper house have actually got no chance. They've got a chance, but it's a lot harder for them. We lose David Limbrick out of the upper house. That's a massive loss for the Victorian Parliament. So this is why I'm not so sure. Everyone's who's patting themselves on the back for bringing down the group voting tickets have really thought this one through. It's like the ones who had the marble videos and said put the majors last. That delivered us an Albanese majority government on a historically low first preference vote. So interesting. We'll see.
Which is a big deal. We're talking like almost 12 to 15 members just of the upper house, let alone...
And I'm not too sure they will get that many members, but we'll see.
The lower house, where they're in the running for 10 to 20 seats. So this is very
No, I don't think they are.
Exciting for me. It's very exciting for anyone that wants to see Victoria back, on the right track.
Well, even if we got 10 to 20 seats, they don't win government unless they form a coalition with the Liberals. And then the Liberals are going to be the majority partner in that alliance, if you want to call it that. They might have a balance of power in the upper house. That's where it's in. But we don't get Victoria back entirely. Because I think the Greens and the ALP now will have the majority in the upper house. That's where I think it'll go.
Fiscally and in every other way. And I'm really excited to see where this goes in November this year. Again, there are a myriad of reasons.
This is interesting.
Removed. I think it was time that they went. Victoria was the last state for them to go. But we've got to give an honourable mention to Monica Smith.
Oh, he does.
Kicking off and making a mockery of the group voting system by
setting
up a pro-net zero party. It was a brilliant idea. And I think that what she did was really did take the piss out of the group voting system. How is it you get people elected on a tiny percentage by manipulating the votes and group voting, sort of funneling the votes to these candidates that no one really knew who they were? It was brilliant that she did that. And of course, Avi did, I think, 2 to 3 parties as well, the Free Palestine Party and others. This group voting ticket system had to go, and I'm glad these guys contributed to getting rid of it. And on top of that, everything that you guys did in the last day election, which made a mockery of it as well, I think that was really critical. So God bless you all. Pat yourselves on the back. But again, the task isn't done. We've got to buckle down. We've got a lot of work to do for Victoria in November.
Here's we.
Let's see what we can achieve.
You don't even live in Victoria, you idiot. I still don't like the guy, but kudos. He finally gave some credit to Avi and Monica right at the very end. He was bragging about that this is something he's done. He had nothing to do with it. Kudos, though. He finally gave him a little bit of credit. He should have said that right at the very start. It took him a while to drag that out. But he did give some credit. He's a snake. He is a snake. I don't like him at all. And stay in New South Wales, Joel. Do what you're going to do. You're not a TP USA sort of person, by the way. You are nothing like Charlie Kirk that you try to present yourself to be. So I would be very careful of listening to this guy. And listen, he's not really relevant. I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, the group voting tickets for Victoria have been abolished. What does this mean? What is a group?
He's this big influencer, but he's got 17,000 followers on X. I'm no big influencer. I'm a nobody. I've got 11,500 influencers. I'm not far behind him. So anyway, so people like him just make me want to vomit. Didn't give Avi any credit for that microphone thing and barely gave him any credit there. So anyway, be wary of who you follow on X. I keep saying that. You won't get bullshit like that from me. We'll get off this. Stop sharing. So got to have our closeout. Extra long episode. Now, before we finish, the reason it's extra long episode, we've got to do something about those youth. You got a guy like Joel there who can't even see in front of his eyes. This is a guy who thinks he's critical to saving Australia, but he can't even see those clips, for example, and he says, I can't see any students. And I just showed you students with their school uniform on. If you are going to deny what your eyes are showing you, there's something wrong. There's students all over the place, and they're being manipulated and indoctrinated by some nefarious adults involved in the Socialist Alliance. So we got radical Islam on one side, the Socialist Alliance on the other side, and their common cause, tearing down Australia. We got to do something about pushing back, and it's not going to be a quick fix. I'm coming to you all with my thoughts and a proposal next Tuesday night and going forward after that. So if you want to help me save our youth, as many youth as we can save, and in doing so, hopefully push back and get our state back, our city back, our country back, then listen in. Okay? Because unlike Joel, I don't manicure my eyebrows. I'm not really at my age worried about my appearance. I am worried about the future of my country. I am worried about that flag. I will give credit to people I don't like I have done. And it's not like that I don't like Avi. I'm just critical of some of the things that he's done. Like I'm critical of a lot of people, like a lot of people are critical of me. But you got to give him credit. I mean, Joel didn't even have the courtesy to say that it was Avi and his security crew that helped stop that guy to get that reporter's microphone back. And thank God they were there. Because who knows, if that guy had had a knife, that female reporter was in a lot of trouble. So the fact that there were security guys around that guy shut it down in a heartbeat. He knew if he pulled anything out, he was going to get the shit beat out of him. So that's where strong Aussie men, and when I say Aussie, I'm including Avi and Rukshan in that, can make a difference. And Aussie men have got to start stepping up. They've got to start, that what you saw on the streets yesterday was the lack of a strong male mentor. I mean, back in my day, if I'd skipped school, my dad would have killed me. He wasn't working his ass off to give me an education to go to school for me to go out in the streets and protest like that. God, he worked his ass off on 2-3 jobs. Mum did a part-time job to get us all through private education. There's no way they would have tolerated that. So, and there's no way they would have tolerated us protesting in support of socialism. So we've got to try. These kids don't have parents and mentors around them to educate them, to mentor them, to even save them from a ridiculous future. So it's got to be on us to be able to do that. We can't turn a blind eye to that. You turn a blind eye, it impacts us all across. That kid with the blue tear and the studs through his nose and lips, he's probably a future politician. He could be our next bloody premier. We've got to save him. To saving them saves others. We can't save them all. We can save some. And we can ensure, and most importantly, that the ones who haven't gone that path never go down that path. That's something we've all got to contribute to. So I'll share. I naturally, not something I've got. I deal with youth. I deal with sports. I deal with that. Not every kid is in a sport, but I do think we can bring something that not just for the youth, but young people in their 20s to their 40s. What are you looking for? How are you trying to change this country back? How do we actually make home ownership more affordable? How do we give people hope instead of despair? How do we do that? Now, I've got ideas on that, but ideas are one thing. Spreading the word and explaining those ideas and showing people a better way is an important thing. And that's the idea that I've got. I don't want a revolution. Not by the way, these kids. I don't want to tear the system down. I want to rebuild what we had, because what we had was brilliant, and we can have it again. So God bless you. God bless your kids, especially the ones that didn't protest. Kudos to them. God bless your grandkids. God bless you. Look at him. He settled down. God bless your pets. God bless that flag. Let's get this country back, hey? All right, see everyone. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday, and I'm looking forward to next Tuesday night. Talk to you all then. Bye.